people out there in the world today. Thank you for joining me on another Talking Sam episode with me today. She is 1/5
of the Skittle Squad of the YouTube
world. She is the one and the only host of the Playing with Heart YouTube channel, Miss Tina. Tina, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, that was a great introduction. Thank you, Sam. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah, really discovering you over when watching Elijah, the Not So
Uh-huh.
Average Fangirl, Morgan, Bill, and just migrating over to your channel, just looking at what you've been doing on your side. It's really interesting, really a fun take on video game story on what you do, analyzing and doing all the backstory into that as well.
Yeah, definitely. I on that channel, I pretty much just was already doing that on my own. I like to basically figure out story or it's really choice-based games, and I want to
Mhm.
see every single possible thing that can happen. I'm desperate for it. I must see it all. And so it's like, hey, if I'm spending the time, I might as well. I know there's others like me out there that must want to see this too. So now it's out there for the public.
Yeah, now it is. And we'll get into more on your second channel right now. But I'd like to start off with this kind of going into your first channel you have, the Ignite channel. Is that correct? Is that how you
It's
pronounce it?
actually it's pronounced Ignitement. So like it's a
Ignite. Sorry.
yeah,
Yes.
no, it's a bizarre name. So it's a mix between ignite, like you're igniting something, and
Hmm.
enlightenment. So it's a mix between those two words.
Okay, nice. What was kind of the background and the thinking behind starting Ignite? Because I see it's mostly focused on mental health, better living, how to meditation and everything and like that. What do you have any background and training behind that to get you started on all that?
Yeah, I actually do. Um, hmm, that will take you on my career trajectory, my career path in life, which is a very bizarre one, but it leads up to this. I actually started in the film and video business. That was my major in college, film editing.
Okay.
And I edited and produced a television show for many episodes in Chicago for a long time. Actually
Oh wow.
nominated for a regional Emmy, regional, not the real
Hey,
thing.
hey, hey, hey,
It
hey, no,
still
no, no.
says
You're an
I still
Emmy nominated
oh
person,
yeah.
okay?
I can actually say
That's
that even
yes,
though
you
I
can.
know the truth. I know the truth. You
Eh,
know what's really funny about that is they spelled my name
what's
wrong
that?
on my certificate.
No. Oh
Like, "Are you
man.
joking me? Really?" It's fine. It's fine. Anyway,
Did they at
so,
least get your
yeah,
first name right?
they did, luckily. But yeah, so, you did that, had owned a film video business for a very long time. My ex actually still runs that. Um, and then while I was still married, actually, I opened up a wellness center. It was always something that I was interested in. I mean, that goes way back to a very long time, childhood. Basically the intuitive arts and understanding the world around me in a different way that than maybe people were really talking about, as a kid. And my perspective is that everyone can do that. They just need to understand how to tap into their natural abilities. And what is natural for some people, they don't recognize as something special because it just feels normal. So my focus at the wellness center, I had yoga classes, I had a retail store and sold, candles and, books and all that stuff
Mhm.
too. But my main focus is I worked with individual clients and I did workshops around figuring out what you're amazing at and how you could use that in your life intuitively. So that could
Mm,
be something from just understanding data. Like that there's an intuitive ability associated with that. And
okay.
people wouldn't think that because they're just looking at a spreadsheet, but not everybody can see things and there's more to it than that. I'm just sort of paraphrasing, but so anyway, that
Right.
was my main focus there. And I had that business for about 8 years as a storefront. But then I worked with individual clients before that for a number of years too. I ended up closing that, and for the first time, aside from for like small college jobs or high school jobs, for the first time I actually got a real job where I had a boss, because I always owned businesses before that. And that's where I have my day job now. So I work for a large global tech company, and this all relates to your question, I swear. So yes,
I got the story that we're going.
yeah, it's a journey. So while I work for a very large global tech company right now, and I work remotely, and during when the pandemic started, there was so much content out there about like, oh, meditation and ease your anxiety about this, and here's how to do it. And to me, when I saw all this stuff that was just blasted everywhere, to me it was all the same thing, and not everybody can do it that way. Not everybody can sit still and let their thoughts pass, and that's only one style of meditation. And so at work, at this tech company I work for, we actually have a social media. It's a very large company, so we have a social media network for the company alone. It's pretty crazy. So I reached out and I was like, hey, does anybody, sorry, that was my cat who just popped a balloon. Did you hear that?
Did, yes. I thought you like the book down at your boss.
It sounded like that.
Listen to
I'm
me.
like, hey, it was part of my it was my sound effects for you. No, that was my cat literally playing with balloon.
Oh wow!
Like, and I was like, here, I'll do that. And I was like, hey, I can't see it actually.
Looked at your cat the wrong way.
Oh yeah, and I think it must have. I didn't see it go down. I just heard it. So anyway, back to the dramatic sound effects. So I reached out on this social network at my company. I was like, hey, just curious. And I kind of posed that question of, I know a lot of people are struggling right now. Does anybody, I have a background in this. Does anyone want any suggestions for other ways that you can ease anxiety aside from kind of what's out there? And I was blown away with the response. Like, just at my company, it was like thousands of people were like, into, so I was like, okay, didn't think anything of it. I like made a couple videos to just give to them, like just to give to my company. But I was like, where am I going to put it? I don't know. And so I just put it on YouTube and gave them the links. Like, I wasn't planning on doing anything with it. And then I remembered that I really liked making videos. Because that's what my background's in. And I hadn't done it in so long.
Okay.
It had been like over a decade or more than that at this point, since I had done anything. And that's really what my first kind of love was. I'd been making, content before content was a word that people used, and just did it for fun. So I just kind of fell in love with that. And also I missed my wellness center type, like the stuff that I did there, because it had been, 5-6 years since I had that. And I missed that too. So it was kind of this perfect combination of the things that I love, but I wasn't doing regularly at all anymore. And I saw it. So again, circling back to your first question, Sam, that's how I got started. And, but I never intended for it to be a job or career or financial or, making any money or anything like that. However, I got really into, because, that data intuitive person I mentioned before, that's partially me. I have that one. So I got so obsessed into, the analytics and the what to do and do it this way. And, you can get kind of into that stuff, or at least I do. So I got a little too focused on that channel. And the problem is it stopped being like, in a lot of ways, depending on the topic that you do for, YouTube or any social media content, if the topic's oversaturated, you're not going to be seen anywhere. And wellness is a very oversaturated topic, right? So, there's just no chance. Like, there's just no chance. So in order to actually be seen, I would have had to start doing videos that I didn't care about, like talking about the latest, self-help book, or that was all the advice I was getting. And, talk about this. Well, it's like, nope, like my focus is about like connecting with the every person who's, it's not about, I'm not chasing the views here. And so I did sort of start making things I didn't really care about. And then I pulled back completely. I'm like, this isn't fun. I don't like this. Um, and I think the last thing that I did that I spent about a year on was, I have an interactive, kind of choose your own adventure type thing, that is related to self-awareness and understanding the different parts of yourself as you go throughout the day. Like, what choices do you make? What part of yourself do you listen to when you make choices in your
Hmm.
day that can lead to a good or bad day? So you kind of like see that through the eyes of like typical parts of myself and what that looks like. So that was the last thing I did there, and I loved it. I had so much fun, but I haven't done anything since. It's been a couple years. So that's that channel. That was a 15-minute answer to one question, but it sets the stage, Sam. I think we're good.
Oh, you're good. You probably beat Bill by like 5 minutes. I'm pretty sure.
Got it. Got
On one.
it.
Now you say you stepped away from your first job because it kind of lost its fun. It didn't feel fulfilling as it used to. Are you now that you stepped away from it, giving yourself a few years away? Are you looking to maybe go back to it at a later time, maybe in the year or maybe down the road? Is that something you were looking into going back to?
Yeah, I am, but I don't have a timeline for it. I think
Okay, no problem.
what I need to figure out is what can I do that because all of this for me, again, it's never it's not a career move. I love my job, my regular job. I'm not looking for financial gain here or anything like that. It is truly a hobby and to like give information. That's it for me. It's different than most, but like that's what it is for me. So if I want to do it, it needs to be something that can be sustainable for me, that I can do regularly, that I enjoy, and that actually has value for people, right? So
Hmm.
I don't know. I've been kind of toying with ideas of maybe changing it into more of a shorts channel that's like quick 60-second meditation ideas or like quick, funny type things like that, of easy, accessible things people can do. That kind of goes back to my original intent of the channel in the first place. So I don't know. I'm not sure
Okay.
yet, but I'm toying with some ideas. So happy to take yours if you have any.
If I think of any, I'll send them your way.
Awesome.
um, are you comfortable saying the name of the company that you're currently working for right now, or do you want to just
I
keep that?
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I think it's
Yeah, no,
probably easily
yeah, no problem.
findable. That's a word, but yeah, probably not. Just in case they have a public image as well. So I might be bashing
Hmm.
that right now. Who knows?
Well, in working for
Name redacted. how
in the beginning, what was it like trying to transition into a regular 9 to 5 everyday job that you currently have now to where you have before?
being your own boss in a wellness center,
Yeah,
and then
great
also
question.
working for yeah, and then also working as an editor for a TV station as well.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and in all those situations, I did work from home. So even like I was an editor at home. Um, I didn't work at a TV station. We just had a show that we produced and then we broadcast on the station. So it was the same. Like it was all my own hours and everything before as well. Yeah. So I actually before I closed my wellness center, I got a very short stint at one job. And actually the interesting part about that is I had such low self-value at that point about being hireable. It was really it's strange looking back right now, but I like when I was actually applying for, quote real jobs for the first time. Again, aside from the side jobs that, you have here and there. But like, I had no self-value. I thought that I'm not hireable because I don't have references necessary, or I didn't think I did because I've been my own boss. Like, why would somebody want to hire me? Like, I did not have the self-worth to be like, you started and ran two companies. You did all the marketing. You did all the websites. Were stocking shelves, did all the inventory. You hired people. You did, management, and also worked with people individually. Like I didn't see that those were skills I had. My self-worth was so low. And so I did get hired for one job, and the salary there was, I didn't realize it, way below what I should have been paid. And I didn't even have the concept. I was just so grateful to be hired by someone, and I was like, I'll do whatever. Shortly after I worked there, the company I'm at now actually recruited me. And hey, if anyone's ever looking for a job, I know LinkedIn is like wah, wah. but I'm telling you, so many that's how I've got all like both of these jobs is just LinkedIn profile, and I get recruitment like notices constantly. And anyway, so I got
Oh wow.
recruited to this amazing, 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 would never leave it company. And again, I did not value, I was like grateful at the time, which I think everyone should be anyway. But so I got a little bit more of a salary bump. But very quickly, I was so lucky that how good this company is and how good my managers were. Very quickly, they saw my work ethic and how and what I was actually able to do that I thought was just normal. And I got eight promotions, which all included big salary gains in about yeah, I've gotten like 8 promotions in about 5 or 6 years total. And the first one I got essentially doubled my pay. And like this,
Oh my.
like nobody has to do like that's how low I valued myself, right? Um
Mhm.
so like this company didn't have to do that. They could just pay me like I was happy. you know um like like I didn't know. I mean, like, luckily they believe in equality, and they were examining salaries and stuff. But anyway, so
Hey.
uh yeah, right. So as far as, again, your question about how did I adapt, that first job that I had, at least I remember the question, right? um the first smaller job the first smaller job that I had was a big adjustment. That was in an office. It was everything you would expect, like, for an office job. There was water cooler talk. There was like, oh, it was awful. It was cubicles everywhere, and everyone was so excited and proud of the way they decorated their desk, and I was like, this is hell.
Oh wow.
There's always a birthday being celebrated and cake in the break room and all that stuff. And I mean, that stuff's like fine, but again, that was a hard adjustment for me coming from being self-employed for like 20 years. um
Yeah.
but this next job is work from home. So I
Okay.
100% for almost 10 years now have worked from home again. And I pretty much manage my entire day however I wanted it to be, as long as I get my work done. And it's unfucking believable. And I love it.
Honestly, that's amazing to hear. Congratulations to you and all your success that you have gone through and battling all the struggles and obstacles that were put in front of you. Tom marks to you. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Now, you mentioned you describing your self worth and whether or not am I hireable to get a new job after seeing your business having to close it down due to unforeseen circumstances and everything into that. Did you ever have to deal with any depression that led into that? And also, what was kind of your mindset when that hit you, and what was some practices you learned to try to overcome said obstacles?
Yeah, it was a journey, but so short answer, yes, and that's the end of the answer. No, I'm just kidding. Um no, I mean, like, the word crisis has been in my life since I was born. So, but I'm extremely resilient, and I'm very independent, and have always like seen the world and understand it in a like, I remember
Mhm.
being a little kid and seeing things that were not okay to be seeing as a little kid, and then being like, yeah, this isn't right. Like, I just sort of knew. So as far
Yeah.
as mental health and things like that's always been something, I think, a part of everyone's life, of course, but that's always been something I've had a lot of awareness of. But for whatever reason, and I cannot attribute it to anything, I don't know if I was just born this way or what. I just sort of get it. Like, there's no other way to say it. Like, nobody taught me that, for sure. Um, so does that mean I haven't had an insane amount of struggles? Like, no. Like, there's been so many struggles, but for whatever in whatever reason, I can, like, I'm really good at figuring things out and getting back to myself and circling around, and like seeing the truth for what it is. Um, what gets me is when I'm in situations, like the job stuff, or, other like individual situations that I'm in. Um,
Hmm.
then I have definitely been situationally depressed, and it's debilitating. Um, in this case with the business and closing, it was like the combination of closing my wellness center and then feeling unhireable. That was also really wrapped up in a lot of stuff I was going through in my personal life at the time, with my marriage at the time, and different things like that. And I I sort of felt like a shell of a human, and I didn't know who I was anymore. Like, it was all wrapped up in that. Um, so what was actually so, like, yes, I was feeling all of those things. What was really interesting is that getting recruited to this job I have now, um, one, like, managers valued me. And so, like, number one, that was like, "Oh, wait, what? Huh? I don't understand." Like, there was this, like, a little bit of like, "Oh, maybe I am okay." But, and then so that was like a little thing. And then there was another little
Okay.
thing, like, this company offers a wellness benefit where we get $100 a month to spend on anything we want, like a massage or a workout class or whatever. It's, like, amazing. So, like,
Oh, wow.
I got a gym membership for free, and I started taking this particular workout class. And it's a pop hip hop dance class that I was like, "Oh yeah, I used to, like, dance on bars and go crazy." Like, I forgot that I'm, like, kinda wild and sassy. Like, I lost that part of myself completely. And, like, so I started, like, you start in the back of the class and, like, learn all the moves, and then you, like, slowly move to the front of the class, and then you're, like, owning it and, like, leading, and then I started teaching it. And so, like, all these little things started happening, and I like attribute it to this job, to be honest. It's kind of weird. But that allowed me to remember myself. Um, what's really interesting is that was the tagline to a lot of my wellness center advertising is, something to the lines of, like, remembering who you are, like, reminding yourself of who you are, like those types of messaging. I said that a lot, but I
Hmm.
didn't do it for myself. I think it's really hard to not practice what you preach. um,
Right.
you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I just yeah, I was going through it, but then little by little, I just remembered, like, who I was and got back to it. And then a lot changed for me after that. I ended up getting divorced, and, um, I don't know. It was just like it was like a huge change in my life. That I feel like was like this catalyst. It's like you go through such horrible times. The closing of this business and stuff was crushing. It was crushing. But I was I was miserable then, and I'm so happy now. So, like, it's like, what happened? What chicken or before
Hmm.
the egg, all that kind of stuff. It's so
Yeah.
true. You never know how things are going to turn out, and um, feel your feelings and then be open to what's next.
And no, absolutely, you're right on that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. By the way, that was amazing. Going into now seeing your work and all the effort you're putting into your job, and seeing all your managers and higher ups acknowledging you for that effort, is that a little more gratifying, and is that good for not only for your soul but for mentally? How, okay, now I'm getting a little more acknowledgement. Is that is that a rewarding feeling for you? How is that all coming together for you now, trying going from where you first started to where you are at now?
Yeah, this is a tricky one for me, Sam. Because, this is where our past traumas come into play. And
Okay.
something I'm struggling with now. So, yes, in one respect, absolutely yes. I feel like I'm finally being seen.
Okay.
And by what I mean by that is, like, who I really am, not the show I'm putting on, kind of thing. Like, we can all sort of act the part in different areas of life, but, like, nope, I'm showing up. I'm who I am, and it's going okay. Like, I'm moving forward with it, and you get that proof, and that helps you do it even more, right? So,
Yeah.
like that, yes, that is happening. And then also there's a big part of me now that is also very loud in my head saying, well, I mean, they're just afraid to tell you the truth. Like, like that's a pretty loud part in my head. So like I also actually my first channel is a lot about the different parts of yourself. So I speak a lot in that language. But like, a part of me feels this, a part of me feels that kind of thing. So there's a part of me that's like, Tina, cut it out. You're doing great. Saying out like everything's fine. And then there's a part of me like, well, yeah, but like if there was, a problem, they're not just going to tell you because they'd be afraid to hurt your feelings. So, if they're telling you good things and they're only telling you good things, it's like that's not possible. There has to be some bad things, so it's just like it's hard to accept it for me sometimes. But I think on an overall level, that voice is getting a little quieter as more proof comes in that like things are okay, you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Happy to hear that. That's great to hear.
Now, not trying to transition away from what we just talked about because that was such an important discussion to have, but what you said in the beginning of our discussion you went to college for majoring in film and editing. What university did you go to after you graduated and you're going to work in a station in Chicago? Was it a school in Chicago that you went to school for?
Yeah, I went to Columbia in Chicago, not Columbia in New York, Columbia in Chicago. Um, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So from there, I'm not sure if you're familiar, but it's an art school overall across the board, and
Yeah.
they're
Hmm.
kind of oh, okay. So their specialty is very much the teachers are working professionals. So they're not just professors.
Right.
They are out there in the field doing things. And so what's really cool about that is you get to know your teachers, they get to know you and your work, and then they hire you or they pass you on for internships and things like that. So that's how I met one person as through a teacher, and then they introduced to another, and then that's how we got the bid for editing the the TV series. So it's kind of a cool situation, the connections you make there.
Absolutely, I bet. Um, Growing up, did you ever do any? Were you always a creative person growing up? Just getting the camera, taking film, or doing anything for high school? And also, did you get any inspiration from a certain director, cinematographer, editor that you saw their style and you just like, okay, I love that style, that hooked you and really really inspired you to begin this journey on the creativity route?
Honestly, I'm looking at a picture across the room right now, and it's a picture of me and my dad. My dad's passed away now, but me and my dad at my high school graduation. And I think it was him. So I don't know that I've said this out loud, like fully into words. So let's just bear with my train of thought here. um,
Hmm.
but my parents had me very young. They were teenagers. And so he was a
Okay.
kid and he was a creative. And like I said, he
Mm.
was a singer in a band. And, he's like a little 20-year-old up on a stage with a kid running around. But he did these sketch with his band. They did all this sketch comedy stuff. And, this
Okay.
big VHS, like full size VHS video camera, and they would do
Oh
all this
wow.
like stuff. Yeah, yeah. Oh, it was, this was in the 80s. So, um, so they I was either witnessing him doing all of it, or he would have me, act in stuff every once in a while if they needed a kid or something. Me and my cousins would do stuff.
Oh.
So I was surrounded by that constantly. I don't know when I started picking up the camera, but the earliest that I remember was probably about third grade. And you got to remember, like, nobody had cameras then. It was rare. It was very rare. Like, there was no smartphones, but even there wasn't any like no, there was no video unless you were like really rich or you had some in. So it just was
Mm.
unheard of. So I think around third grade, my stepdad brought a camera home or something. And I remember recording like a fake news program with my friend. And like, I don't know. And then since then I had a camera with me everywhere. So um in high school, and even before that, I would bring my tape recorder. Again, back in the day, you'd have to push record and play at the same time to record something. I would bring it to school and just like audio record people all day. Like I don't know I wouldn't do anything with it. I just did it. and then I'd play it back and we'd all listen to it. I don't know. Like for years I did that. One time my my recorder was underneath my desk in 4th grade, and I'll never forget this because my foot landed on the play button and it started playing like really loud in the middle of class. Like, so then I wasn't allowed to have it in there anymore. But anyway, so yeah, and then at some point, yeah, at some point I had it, and maybe it was in junior high or high school. I ended up getting my own camera at a pawn shop for $50.
Wow. Hey, that's
it worked, Yeah, I know. Well, remember, it's still like 90s, so
well, yeah, in the night, still,
it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So yeah, I started recording everything, and then I decided, well, I think my high school needs a video yearbook. Like there was not like a video yearbook department. I just decided I wanted to do it. So I went to every game, every play, everything, and I had me and my tiny little camera and a tripod, and I recorded literally everything. And I had no editing equipment. I'd always been interested in the idea of editing, but I had no way of doing it. So I ended up having to like find like a student program that did it in a different school, and they helped me. And then I advertised it and I sold it at my school, and people bought it. Like the school bought my video. And it was really cool. Like I had voiceovers and everything. It didn't turn out, how I wanted. It wasn't like professional, but I mean, it was pretty good for what it was. Like it really was. And it was that was my junior year in high school. I did not do it my senior year. But after all of my expenses, I ended up making $137 total for all that, because I had so many expenses to pay for like duplication and mailing and everything. Did not plan that out well. And I ended up buying my own cordless telephone. So my cordless telephone with, oh yeah, with an attached answering machine too.
Oh, you got that right, Tina. That is some hot old school stuff right there. From there, did you use that as a kind of a audition tape or part of the application when you were applying to colleges? And did you use that as a kind of a hello, this is me when you're applying to Columbia and Chicago? And was that your first choice trying to go there, or were you looking at other schools all around you? What was kind of your process in that?
No, actually, I transferred there. So
okay.
I lived in. I ended up only applying to one school, and I gotta tell you a story, Sam. I went to visit colleges with my dad. Yeah, no, nobody in my family ever went to college or anything, so it was not something that was like something that I was raised to do. My dad didn't graduate high school, and he very much believed in college, and he like was very, he pushed that a lot. So he helped, he also like wanted to go somewhere he would visit or whatever. So we toured a bunch of schools, and I went to Arizona State, and I went to the University of Arizona just because, sure, Arizona sounds cool, right? Like I didn't even think about it in colleges, right? We go to University of Arizona tour, and like walked in and was like, fine, it was good. Then we went to Arizona State, and we drove by the football stadium, and there were 3 football players, and my dad had rented a convertible to like drive between these colleges just for fun, which was so cool, and we drive by the stadium just to kind of look around, and these 3 football players like looked at me, and they were like, hey, and I was like, hey, like with my dad there, and then like that's literally why I decided to go there.
Like, Dad, I'm going to Arizona State.
Yep, that was it. I was like, that is absolutely why. So yeah, I actually went there with a psychology degree. And I realized very quickly that if I did that for a profession, it would just crush me. I would not be able to. I was not. I would have been too wrapped up in my clients' lives and I wouldn't have been able to stay grounded and secure within my own self to not bring all of that home. Some pretty awful things happened there as well. And so I ended up leaving, and that's when I transferred to Columbia. And it was like my heart was always in video the whole time. So no, it would have been smart to use it for an audition reel. But I just went to Columbia. I don't even remember what I used because we had to do a portfolio or something there. I don't remember what I did, but yeah, just got in.
After you graduated, did you go right away into working for that station in Chicago that you mentioned earlier before? And what was that station? Are you comfortable letting us know what station that was, or do you want to just keep that hush hush? If you want to, no problem.
Yeah, probably not. It's just, but I mean, it wouldn't be anything interesting. I can kind of describe it. It was a food and wine television show. So
Okay.
it was all local in the Chicago area. So it was, if a new restaurant opened up, they might go in and interview the chef or the owner. We got a lot of free, really cool Chicago restaurant passes. So like we would get to eat at all the cool
Mhm.
places, which is fun. And then there might be a cooking segment, and then there might be like a featured like tip or something. So there was all these different segments within the show. But it all came down to just food and wine overall. So yeah, did that for a while.
All right, nice. Now, after your time there was finished up, were you looking to get into another station to do more editing for another show anywhere in Chicago or outside of Chicago, outside of Illinois? We're looking at other markets. What was kind of your mindset after that? Were you still wanting to still be in the TV realm, or you wanted to get out of that space and try something else or expand your portfolio?
So, no. So I actually got into the film video area because what I cared about is very similar to my sort of main YouTube channel right now is personal stories and character development. And just like understanding the core. It's also why I was interested in psychology. So I wanted to do documentaries and really understand the personal level of going deep into stories. And that's just not the jobs that like there's no money in that, right? So
Right.
like
Mhm.
this TV show was great, it paid the bills, but I had zero interest in it creatively. My ex, we were not married at the time, but he also we were both doing that together, the two of us, and that's what started our company actually. We formed it when
Mm.
that TV show started. Um and that was something he did love, and that's why he's carrying on. He does a lot of commercial work now and a lot of things for large large labels, large logos, you would say, and like commercial stuff, flashy stuff. I just wasn't interested in that. I wanted the core true story, what's the truth behind things, and what's the personal story. So that's
Okay.
why I moved away from it, because we just weren't getting that kind of work, because there isn't really
Right.
any. um
Y-
yeah.
you're more of a like a
Documentarian
of storyteller because like I've seen your one video on your
playing with heart channel.
the mockumentary you made, which
Yeah.
I gotta say that is some top notch work you did there. I
Well, thank
again,
you.
oh absolutely, it's so funny, creative, um, being able to
Getting your friends and
family involved. What was kind of that like?
getting to make a mockumentary style video for your channel, showing your skills at play based all around your life, but
Also
Yeah.
incorporating Life is Strange as well.
Right. Yeah, that was so funny. And I also want to say, if people don't know what a mockumentary, it's a fake documentary, because it was a mixed bag of people thinking, not sure if it was true or not. And it's like, no, this is
Mhm.
fake. So gosh, I'm trying to remember the exact moment and what happened in my mind. I know I was editing just like one of my choice and consequence videos or something. And I got like the twinge of the idea. And I think it was because, oh man, I wish I just remembered right now. But I think, yes. Oh yes, I got it. Okay. I had to like refresh my brain there. So I was going through something pretty serious at the time, within my family. And it
Mm.
was a situation that I could absolutely not control. And it's something that I knew was going to happen again. And for somebody like me that's hyper vigilant and wants to prepare so that there can be safety and everybody feels comfortable and all those kind of things, it's torture having something that exists and you have no control over. I think a lot of people can relate to that, no matter what extent the circumstances. That's just a very difficult situation to be in. So I'm sitting there, and um, I realize my coping mechanism in those instances of not feeling like I have control is to play a choice-based game, like in general. And I had this realization of like, huh, this is why like I always go to those. Why? Like I'm dealing with this difficult situation. why am I playing games? One, and why, and like they're always the same. They're always like emotionally driven storylines. And it was like one of those moments where it's like everything makes sense in like 5 seconds, but it's like as I'm talking about it, it's going to take like 20 minutes to explain it. But it, like in my brain, it was like 5 seconds worth of, enlightenment. Um, so, and I realized what I did was like when I feel a lack of control of things I can do, doing a game or something like that, where there is like you make this choice, and then this is what happens in the game if that choice is made. Like by making this choice, there is code, there is an algorithm that says this happens here, then this, and then this happens, and then this happens. Like that's it. Like it's just hardwired in the game. It's coded in the game. And my brain was like, wow, I can experience these intense emotions, but it's safe because I know that what I'm doing, there is a true and purposeful like consequence to this choice. In real life, that doesn't exist. You don't know what the hell's going to happen when you make a choice, and that's terrifying. You know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So yeah, right? So I realized in that moment, like, that's why I love these games. Like, it's healing in a way, Like, you get to express these parts of yourself and you get to feel all the feels, but there's safety in it, Like, they say that people with high anxiety actually do really well with scary movies, and actually helps their anxiety because they can really express that fear in a safe way. And then that like all of their neurons and everything can fire, but you're safe because it's just a movie. So it's a similar thing like that. So with the mockumentary, like I had this, like I'm editing, these choices and consequence videos. And then I had this like enlightenment moment. I switch over to my notes doc and I start frantically typing, like frantically. And I'm not even kidding you. I'm bawling my eyes out. I'm hysterically, and like what I'm writing is like, poking fun at what, since you saw the mockumentary, it's like poking fun at an obsession. Sure, I love the game.
Right.
I don't have that obsession. Let's be clear. But like the core of it is true. And like that moment, there's a moment in there where I'm crying. Like that's real. That it's not about the game in that moment, but that moment of I don't remember exactly what I say, of like where I just it's about like this helps me. It helps me like feel control and like feel like that was about my life situation and about what I was going through at the time. And it's true, that helps me cope. So again, it wasn't about the obsession, it was about that. But yeah, so I was like hysterically crying writing this thing. As I'm writing it, I had no idea it was going to involve my friends or family or anything. But I start texting my two friends that were in it. I'm like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but do you want to be in this thing? And they're like, sure. And I'm like, okay, I'll let you know what it is, because I don't know what it is. And I'm still typing. And then my daughter, one of my daughters that's in it, she basically improv'd all of that. It was amazing.
Oh, hey, good on her.
So yeah.
She's a good improvist.
Yes, she really is.
Now,
so yeah, it was a good time.
No, again, Top Monks Trio was really good. Very well done.
Thank you.
Now, were you kind of waiting for a game like Life is Strange to give you that spark to go back into YouTube, or were not even looking into doing that? Because again, you like you said, you were so enamored and infatuated with the story-based decisions on you could go left or you could go right, but if you make it right, you could also go left. Sort of based decision-making games, or was that not even your mindset? Again, just want to do this for fun, a hobby sort of thing when you're going back into YouTube. What was kind of like your game plan and mindset for that?
Yeah, so actually I didn't figure out any of that until I was like a year and a half into the channel already. So I think doing the channel helped me figure out that. So no, what happened there is I was still very active on my other channel.
Okay.
And I was in a like a live streamer kind of group, because I was starting to I wanted to learn a little bit more about live streaming at the time, and I was doing some stuff with that. And that's actually where I met Paul. So I do a lot of live streaming with Paul on with other various games. Usually Wednesday nights.
Shout
but
out
we
to Paul.
didn't tonight. Shout out to Paul. Big shout out to Paul. So we met there in that group. And
Take a spot.
well,
Sorry.
well, we decided to cancel anyway. We wanted a break this week.
Okay.
But so we met there, and then I found out that a new Life is Strange game was coming out, which is Life is Strange True Colors. And this was, like, I don't know. I don't know when they released the announcement. I don't remember, but it was, a good, maybe 9 months or something before it actually came out. I don't know. So I was like, I started spinning because I was like, oh, I'm going to play this a million times. And, like, I was like getting so excited for like, oh, and I'm going to figure this and I'm going to, what's it going to, I was like, got so into it. And that's kind of what I was saying at the beginning. I'm going to do this anyway. Like, I'm doing this. I'm like, this is going to take up so much of my time because again, at the time I had no idea it was therapy for me, but it was. So I knew I was going to do it. Why not make content out of it? Because I really like making stuff. And then, so at the time I was getting so burnt out from the wellness related channel because of the things I said earlier, the idea of making content around Life is Strange in particular got me so excited that I was like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going, so that's what started it. Is I just was burnt out. And then I saw that I was energized by this other thing that was coming. So it was still like, I don't know how long in the future. It was still a good 6-8 months or something until True Colors came out. But so I started, I said I kind of wanted to just start the channel and warm up a little bit. So I did a few videos on Life is Strange 1, just to kind of like get things going. I think I had like less than 100 subscribers or something by the time like after like a year, I hadn't even hit 100, I think, after a year. And then True Colors came out then. So it's a relatively new channel in itself, but the intention was to kind of warm it up and like help the algorithm know that I'm about Life is Strange. So I just did a few videos here and there. I did some live streaming with Paul here and there about Life is Strange. And then so that when True Colors came out, I was already warmed.
Okay.
Yeah. But the intention was always going to be where I'm moving into now of all story-based games. There's just a lot to talk about with Life is Strange. So the mockumentary was also kind of a bridge for that. So, in there, the quote therapist prescribes me to play other video games. My intention behind that was also one of my like frantic script writing moments, because I was like, how am I going to start playing other games? Because people just know me as this Life is Strange person, but I always wanted to play other games. So I use that as sort of a bridge in my mind of like, well, I'm prescribed. I need to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a cool way to tell your audience and all your followers, hey, there might be some new games coming your way. Don't know what they are, but stick around. You're going to find out pretty soon.
100%. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, very backdoor way, but yeah, I just wanted, I don't know why I felt like I needed to do that, but I felt like I needed to for some reason.
Now, being part of this YouTube and gamer community, you've connected with a lot of others like Elijah, the Not So Average Fangirl, The Third Bill, Morgan Terry, Moscow of We Last Reacts, and also Tomato Sauce. How's that like so far, getting to communicate, interact with them, and how did all that interaction started between all y'all, and how that came to be? Who did you reach out to them? Did they reach out to you? How did all that start, and how's it been so far?
Yeah, it started because Elijah, Not So Average Fangirl, happened. The story goes, she happened to see one of my videos in her feed, or whatever, recommendations, something. It was
Okay.
Life is Strange video where it's another choose your own adventure style, like I said I did on my other channel, where you find out which Life is Strange character is your love match. So she played it on her channel. I did not know that this was happening. But all of a sudden in my analytics, I see, because I didn't have, many subscribers or anything. I don't have a large following because my content is so niche. There's not that many people that, want to see what I'm doing. And that's fine. I love it. I don't care. So all of a sudden in my analytics, I'm seeing these huge spikes of viewers. And so I'm like, what is this? So I looked at, what was bringing, like what video was recommending things. and I saw it was hers. So I clicked on it and I'm like, oh, dang, she's playing my game. So, and then she also during her video of playing my game, on the I think it was a live stream, on the live, she commented on my video as well. And in there, I think she mentioned, maybe collabing one time or something like that. And so from there, I reached out to her separately. I'm like, hell yeah. And then we just started talking in that area. We had some plans very initially, some very clear plans that haven't happened yet. We'll see if they do one day. We're excited about it if they do. But
Okay,
since then,
nice.
yeah, we've just, played some fun games since. And yeah, got to meet the other folks, and it's been a ton of fun since. So basically, met people through that situation, and then she just kind of brought everyone in.
Hey, she is the Gandalf of the Skittle Squad for sure, leading this fellowship. And in doing so, you guys did this amazing charity event last weekend. It was a Truth or Dare donation where all donations go to the Trevor Project. It was fantastic. Congratulations. You guys did an amazing job. And you guys had a goal of $5,000 for that donation stream.
Which, by the way, was a stretch goal. No way did any of us think that we were even going to get that.
Okay.
Incredible.
And what, less than 2.5 hours, or maybe less than 2 hours, you guys hit it?
Right? Yeah. Like within the first 15 minutes or something crazy like that, we already hit 1,000. We thought like we would get there maybe, 2 hours in or something. And it was like, what is happening? It was amazing.
I remember when I donated, you guys were just at the cups of crossing 2K. It was like, okay, you know what? I'll throw in another one. I'll get them over. And when you guys cross that 2K and jump into that the Matrix Morgan picture, I was like, ha, it was worth it. I knew it was worth it.
Right? So good.
And from there on, you guys surpassed the goal of 5,000, reaching over 7,000, ending the stream that you guys did.
What is that feeling like, doing so much for a great cause like the Trevor Project like that?
It was such a high. It was like, I can't even tell you, like, as soon as we, like, number one, it was 6 hours long. We were only going to go 5 hours. In 5 hours, we thought like maybe we'll make it to 5 hours. We also planned, we didn't actually do it, but we had this plan of making like a document of conversation topics that we could talk about, because we didn't expect so many donations to come in. So we were like, well, we need to fill time, so we better make a list of things to talk about, just so we're not like, on screen the whole time.
Right.
We didn't end up doing it. And it would have been a waste of time, because we barely had enough time to connect with all the donations as it is. So we ended up going an extra hour. So we were exhausted, like beyond belief at the end. But I'm telling you, like, we hit the end stream button and we decompressed for like a second. And then we're all like, okay, oh my God, amazing, good night. And then I was like, on the phone, texting and calling, and I was literally pacing back and forth because I was on such a high from that experience. And just like, oh my God, we hit it, just like telling everybody I knew like what happened. And I didn't sleep that night. Like it was so incredible. Like you and everybody just blown away by the support for the Trevor Project. It was just amazing.
No, absolutely. Like, and as I was watching it,
try to watch it live and try to keep up. I got a little busy. I think I fell behind about like half an hour. But just
seeing people just donate $100, 800, 500. It's like, it's like, God, it's like, okay, I kind of not so good about my donation. I only put in 20 and 25. It's like, should I put in more? Can I? Like, is it too late for me? Is it closed?
Right. No, and that is one thing that I feel like I would feel the same way in that position. And you can sort of feel that like people will make comments like that too, like, oh, I wish I could donate. I'm so sorry. It's like, no, don't, like, literally like, if you look at the total donate, it's like mostly 5s and 10, it's not like that collective is what makes this such a huge amount. Like, yes, there were these major drops that were shocking. But it's the collective of, and not only that, for people that couldn't donate, just being there, being a viewer on there, commenting, chatting, brings the live stream up in other people's, recommended videos, and those people might donate. So like it's a whole spectrum of help. It's not financial, and it never has to be. And it was so fantastic having you there, and everyone as well.
No, definitely. Again, thank you to everyone who
donated to the Trevor Project, as large as it was, as much as you can. It was very much appreciated to them and to the Trevor Project. You guys did a great job.
Is that still open? Can people still donate? Or
I'm pretty sure, I want to look now. I'm pretty sure Elijah did close it down because we had to pick the giveaway winners. And so if other people donated, then they technically would have had a giveaway entry again. So yeah, so I think she did close it down, and the giveaway winners, I believe, were announced today, or well, today at the time we're recording this, that is.
I see. Okay.
Now, just sticking still on the topic with everyone of the Skittle Squad, Morgan, Bill, Elijah, Moscow, is it kind of weird? Not weird, but are you taken back to see how you connected with all these great group of people, but being that their content on their channels is vastly different than yours, and the only thing connecting you guys is the video games that you do for each other. You go to their channels, and they go to yours. They help you out, especially on your Patreon, which, by the way, you did a great song. If you guys haven't heard it, go to her Patreon, sign up. It's incredible. Please do that right now. What's kind of like that been so far? Just try to connect with them and try to keep up with some of their interests as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we talk separately and stuff, and have made connections aside from, content related things, so there's other connections there that have developed over time for sure. But yeah, I like every single one of them. I've never seen any of the shows they react to, not once. So it's definitely, like you said, is it weird? Here's what's weird. When everybody in Discord or something is talking about, oh, so-and-so, like, oh my God, this episode dropped, or like they're, referencing characters, or, putting up memes. And I'm just like, cool. But no, it's kind of a joke. It's funny. We actually, one of our conversation ideas that we never actually wrote down, I was joking about, like, if we need a lot of dead time, how about you guys all explain the Owl House to me from beginning to end?
You know what? That would have been a fun one. That would
right? Be a very long conversation.
Yeah, maybe for the next stream, you guys get able to do that. But also, I wanted to do like because you guys, so many ideas were coming to mind. I don't know if you remember a channel called Screen Junkies. They did a show called Movie Fights, where they have all their guests and their people. They pit against each other, and they debate movie debates on who's a better director, who's a better actor, which movie was better. And I was like, maybe I got an extra 5 I can spare. Do that. Probably do that with one of you guys and have fun with it, because you guys had such a great rapport with each other. The back and forth you guys have, even though it was digital over cameras, you guys had the really good just that back and forth.
Yeah, that's I actually that sounds familiar. That I don't remember if I've seen it, but that does sound familiar. The show, it was a show, right? You said.
Yeah, the channel was Screen Junkies, and they did the show. Yeah, channel was Screen Junkies. They did like honest trailers and movie fights.
Yeah. So that's where you got the idea. That's cool. Yeah.
Now, just kind of winding down here with you, Tina. What are you kind of seeing your goal for your channel being? Are you looking to monetize it to make sure it can grow to a certain number you're reaching for, and not to say make a profit and gain more money, but still doing it for your own self-health, your self-benefit, be it a sort of a therapy for you to escapism in sorts? What kind of the goals are you and for your channel Playing with Heart?
Yeah, I am monetized now, and I do have a Patreon. But my intention is not to do it to make an income. Do I think I deserve to be paid for the time that I put in? Yeah, everybody does, right? So like, really, that's the only intention there is, and everything that I make, I spend like our first Pacify collaboration video that we did. I mean, like I spent I don't know, like countless hours, like multiple days, hours, and I have a regular job and I have kids, like, all this stuff,
Yeah.
on something that like does not need to be. Like I just put a lot of time into it because I just love doing that. Like it's not about the content for me, it's about the process for me. So like, but if I were to charge a client for making a video, that would have been like 100 grand. that they, like just because of the time, which would they ever pay for that video? Hell no. But you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
So like, do I want to see my channel grow? Has many answers. As far as the financial side, I would like to get to a point where I can sort of, pay myself for just the time put in. I will never do this full time because I really love my other job too. And I really value it for many reasons. This will always be a hobby for me, but yeah, I definitely want it to grow, on the financial side, to just help support the time I put in. On the like the bigger heart related side is, it's just really great to have a community of like-minded people that value the same things that you do, and that's really nice. And to like have a space where people can be ridiculous in the same way is always a good thing. So yeah, so that's definitely, to find more would be wonderful. I love live streaming so much because we can connect directly with the people that are there. And we chat with people while we're playing the games and put their comments into the live stream itself. So everybody feels like they're a part of the experience. I just love it so much. So I want it to grow more more than financial for heart reasons like that.
No, hey, that is very understandable, really. I mean, a lot of people don't do that. They don't do it for the hard reasons. They don't do it for their own self-health or a way for escapism or a way for trying to get away from how crazy this world can be sometimes. They do it for, not for their own selfish gain or greed or anything like that, because they do make great content. They do make a lot of people happy with what they produce and what they put out for the world. That's how they pay the bills. That's great. All you guys out there, keep that up. It's fantastic. But the way you're doing it is awesome as well too. It's fantastic. Please keep that up as well.
Yeah, and what it is too is that when I started getting into that world in my other channel, where I was getting a little bit too into the like, okay, well, I need to do it this way to grow this way, and I didn't like how I felt. It wasn't comfortable. I wasn't having fun. I was doing things that I didn't personally care about, in specific videos and things. That like when I finished it, I wasn't proud. I didn't feel like, wow, I just gave something to the world. It sounds dramatic, but I feel good about what I just gave. And that it didn't feel good. So, there's also that piece of it is sometimes chasing something that makes you feel good in one area can really bring you down in another. And I think it's just really important to assess the whole thing as a whole with anything. If that's YouTube, if that's your day job, if that's your relationship, if that's where you live, if it's anything, just assess everything. Is this energizing you or is it bringing you down? And if it's not energizing you and bringing you closer to who you are, then why are you doing it? Like mic drop, done.
Hey, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, and on that note, with that mic drop, I want to thank Tina so much for joining me here today. It was such a fun time talking to you. I tried to do my research. I did the best I can, trying to find as much information I can about you beforehand. And I swear, going into this, I didn't expect a lot, but coming out of this, I learned so much about you, and hopefully I can apply a lot of your teachings on how you going through life into my life. And it was really, really great listening to your story. It was fantastic. Thank you so much for giving us your time and joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much. This was really wonderful for me too.
I'm awesome. Glad to hear that. Where could people find you on YouTube if they want to go to your channel and support you?
Yeah, you could just again go to my main channel is Playing with Heart. again, focusing on story-based content and things like that. And if you're interested in the wellness-based content, I still like a lot of the stuff that's up there. There's some of my favorites are still there, is Ignitenment. So the word ignite and enlightenment mixed together, and it's a tricky one. It's also, that channel is also on my homepage of Playing with Heart at the bottom too, for easy finding.
And you guys make sure to find and follow me on Twitter at SamMac55, TikTok same thing at SamMac55, Instagram at SamMacias5, and on Facebook at SamMacias55. And you guys, if you guys want more episodes of Talking Sam, come to my YouTube channel at Sam Macias as well. I have more interviews with other YouTubers in the realm of creation. The rest of the Skittle Squad will also be on there as well. I do also do movie reviews. If you guys are interested in some of my movie takes, come on over. We'll have a little discussion. It'd be fun. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video, comment on the video, share with everyone that you know. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I can't wait for everyone to come and enjoy it. And until next time, bye!